welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be breaking down gold, especially because this past week there were a whole bunch of moves. Now I didn't catch these really big moves because these occurred when I was sleeping, so mostly during Asian session or London session, but I was able to catch some moves this week, which was really awesome. So let's go ahead and clear the charts. So this was remove drawings. Okay, great. And then reset so we can actually find the candles. So as usual, what we're going to do is we're going to go down or go up to the weekly time frame, and let me move this over. All right, so it's really obvious that there have been a lot of bullish moves inside of the gold market, especially because we got this really big move up. And as you can see, last week price tried to go up to this, well, it did go up to 24.33, and then this week that just ended tried to go up to that level, couldn't quite make it, but it still ended the week bullish. So for this upcoming week, it's going to be really interesting, especially with a number of things that have happened as far as some late breaking news. And typically when there are things happening in the Middle East, a lot of times that may cause the price of gold to spike. So let's go ahead and see what we could figure out on the daily time frame. So as we see on the daily time frame, we do see kind of, let me make this bigger, we do see kind of a big rejection zone right around 23.91, and that is mostly because of all the stuff that we saw on the weekly time frame and price trying to go to that higher level but can't quite make it. So let's go ahead and draw a resistance level right here really thinly around 23.92. Now I remember throughout this week seeing price come up to this a whole lot of times. As you can see, it rejected a lot because I had an alert placed there. So pretty much let me get rid of that just because it's kind of in the way. All right, and then let's go ahead and draw our support level. So if we go and we look at this level right here, this would be the closest support on the daily time frame. But another thing to look at is the fact that we have candles closing side by side. So when we have candles that are closing side by side, that basically tells us that this is a consolidation zone. And since we're on the daily time frame, if we go down to the lower time frames, there will be opportunities for us to potentially take trades, but just understand that this being in a consolidation zone, price may hit a couple of different price levels at are pretty much multiple times. So as you can see, for instance, this 23.65 level, this candle, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles went to that price at some point in the time span of this day. So, or these days. And this is basically because price is in a consolidation. So let's get rid of this and let's go down to a lower time frame where we can get more information about what is happening with price. And once again, let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. And then I noticed that this box that I drew on the daily is a little too slim. So one of the things I want to do with the lines that I drew on the daily is I want to make sure that my line or this box is aligned with these heights. So if we scoot this over a little bit, we can see that there is a resistance here right around 2400, almost perfectly. So I definitely want to have my most recent resistance level to be marked off, and then I also want to look for my most recent H4 support level. So we got this, and we have this right here, this most recent level on H4. Like I said before on the daily time frame, there's a whole lot of consolidation, and you could basically see it right in here with a lot more detail. You could also see all of these wicks. You can see price going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's going to make it a little bit difficult to actually map out the price, but it's not going to be impossible. And that's why I'm taking you through this exercise, because this is a good example for when you're doing this on your own chart. no matter if you look at gold or some other market. So right now we got this resistance level right here, right around 2400. And then we can also see these other candles like we talked about before that are kind of in this level. Now we have some wicks all the way up here, and we'll deal with those in a little bit, but right now let's just focus on these key levels right here. Then we do have a support that formed right here, and sometimes what I like to do is I like to drag this box over to the left just to see what else this is touching. And I'm glad that I did, because we see right around this 2380-ish zone, we do see a support was formed right here. We saw that price broke below, but then it came back up. So once again, all this choppiness, and it formed this really crazy weak bullish candle where price went all the way up to 2417 and came all the way back down to 2383. So really crazy candle there. But then we also see the support level right here at the same price level. And then we also see price come up, come down, come up, come down. But we got this little support here. And we also, well, we have a support here where price rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times before breaking through. And then we also have the support level here where price came up to the 2400 level and then formed this resistance level right here. So that is looking good to me. And then if we go down here, here's another support level that we have right around 2360. And if we do the same thing as we did before, let me scoot this over. If we take this and just drag it over to the left and just see what else this is touching. So it's touching this level, but it's also forming this resistance right here. So it's a support right here, but it's a resistance right here where price kind of went through and then it rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that's telling me that this level of 2360 is a really strong rejection level, but it also acts as a support. We can see all the way over here, it also went through a couple of times, and then this candle tried to reach it. It almost did, but once again, it rejected. So this is a really strong level here as well. And then I'm going to scoot this down a little bit just to see if there are some other levels that we can identify, just because you can see price is pretty much all over the map when it comes to gold, especially this past week, especially this crazy candle right here. So I want to see if there's another level, and I do see another support level right about here at 2344. Now obviously we don't know if price is going to make it to this level throughout the week, but there's a possibility that it could. So also looking left, like I talked about before, I see this resistance level. So I see the support right here. This is my main area, but I also see this resistance. And as always, I'm going to make the zone really slim, just because when we go down to the lower time frames, it's going to look like a big block versus how it looks now. So once again, support right here. We got this really big rejection. We have an even bigger rejection right here. We also have resistance right here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rejections. 4, or actually I count that wrong, 5 rejections, and then we also have a support right here, and then we also have 3 rejections right here. And keep in mind that we're on the H4 time frame, so these are going to be really strong levels, especially if you like to enter trades like I do on the lower time frame. So these days I've been using the 5, 15, 30, and sometimes the hour time frame. So anyway, so this is looking good to me. We may have some cleanup on the lower time frames just because of all of these different wicks and the crazy price action, but let's go down to H3 and see if there is something that we can modify. So off the bat, I see this level right here. And then earlier, if you notice on H4, this zone was just a wick, but now there's actual candles here. So one thing that I want to mark off is the resistance level for these candles, because price came up to this and completely rejected. And you can see that price, once it got up to this level, this highest high of 23 or 24.31 zone, it rejected hard. So this was a really strong rejection level. So I definitely want to mark that off. And if we look over here, we still got this wick here, but as we go down, maybe in other time frames, maybe we'll see actual candles right here. Just kind of depends on what the price action looks like. So that is something I want to mark off. This is looking good. We made a minor adjustment. This level right here, now that I'm looking at it on H3, I actually want to move it. But one of the things that's a little bit tricky is the fact that the where it's at right now, it's kind of going through these candles. You don't really know where it should really be. So anytime I'm marking up these zones, I'm looking for a line of best fit. So let's go ahead and see where this could be. So if we put it right here at 23.78, that is looking good. However, we do have this support right here. So actually, I do want to put it right here at this support, mainly because it is the most recent support. And we always want to prioritize things that are happening now versus things that have happened in the past, because this is new information, new data, and of course, as you look at any market over time, the way price behaves or the way the candles form will change. So we have to make sure that we're prioritizing things that are occurring right now, which is why I want to place my level right here at 23.76. And if we look at this a little bit closer, we can see, yes, this support, and we have the two rejections. We have multiple rejections here, and these are just kind of chopping through. So it's looking good to me so far. And then if we look at this level, I actually do like it right here because of the support. We also have a bit of a resistance right here like we saw in other time frames, and also the resistance. That is looking fine to me. Let me squeeze this a little bit. All right, cool. So this, we have rejections and we also have support. So sometimes I like to move these around just to see what makes sense. So if I move this right here, we have this support here, and then we also have this rejection, or not really rejection, but a resistance right here with some rejections. And we have price kind of chopping through there. I actually do like this level, but at the same time, I do want to make a copy of this, and I want to create a new level, probably not right there, but right here. Right here, so that way we can have price sitting at a support level here at 23, what's that, 23.27, and we also have a support here, rejections here, support, rejection. So this tells me that this is an area where price likes to bounce up from, and that's probably all of the zones that I'm going to draw at this moment. So let me go ahead and save this before I forget to. And then let's go down to H2. So once again, we have a lot of zones here. And this is actually way more zones than I typically like to draw on my charts, but price action is insane. It's literally just chopping around. So I want to make sure that I capture those really important areas, especially for when I come back to the chart and trade. So looking at this level, looking good. Looking at this first level that we drew, still looking good with those levels right here, looking good with these levels right here, looking good with the support, this resistance level, still looking good. So let's move this over a little bit so we can get to the other zones. This is looking good. And then this is also looking good. Supports right there. Support, rejection, still looking great. Okay, so one thing I do want to mark off here that is just obvious to me is this consolidation zone. Now, sometimes when you're on lower time frames, it may be harder to identify consolidation, but now that I see it clearly on this higher time frame, we're currently on the H2 time frame, I want to mark that off. And basically, I just do that with a box, just so that way when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I probably don't want to trade in the zone. And then I'm also seeing a rejection kind of zone right here, but I do want to go down to lower time frames to see that in a little bit more detail. Well, really, we're just going to go down to H1 because that's pretty much what I like to do this analysis down to. Oops, forgot to get rid of that box. All right, so this rejection level is still looking good. Now we actually have some candles here, and I probably do want to mark off this level because this is also a really strong rejection level. And we may actually go down to one more level to M30 after this, but I'm looking at these levels and it's still looking really good. I probably do want to move this a little bit right there, mainly so that way the top of my box touches the top of these candles. Same over here, so it's still still looking good. So this area right here, this area right here, still looking good. There is a lot of consolidation here, but it's also a really big range. I like the way this is sitting right here. This is still looking good. Okay, cool. So right here, this is still looking good. This is a really big consolidation zone right here, but I think I'm gonna leave that the way I've already drawn it. And then this, although we have a candle going up and a candle going down and this line going through it, or this box going through it, we want to prioritize data that has happened more recently. So I want it sitting there at that support level. And then let's see, if we go down here, this is still looking good with all of these rejections. This is definitely a strong rejection candle right here, and you can see that it shot up right there. And yeah, this is still looking good, but I am going to move this down just a little bit, mainly because we got support level right here. Let me point this out, maybe a little hard to see. Support level right in here, resistance right in here, support, support, and then a big rejection. So I definitely want to mark that off. So typically I don't go down to 30-minute, but I do want to take a look. So I'm just going to right click and reset the view, just because there's a lot of stuff happening. And I wanted to do that mainly because of this level that I drew right here, right around 2409. As you can see, price came up here and then it just rejected big time. So I wanted to go down to this time frame to check that out. And right now that is looking good to me. Everything else is looking good. All right, so let's talk about what my trading plan will look like for this week, because I've been trading a lot of gold. And pretty much when it comes to gold, actually, I'm gonna move this level right here. I just noticed this right here. I want this support here. Okay, at 23.74. Okay, great. So when it comes to gold, as you can see, there is a lot of volatility. There is a lot of movement, a lot of choppiness at time, and you'll get the choppiness when choppy basically just means these really tiny candles. You see all these wicks like crazy, really big wicks like this one right there. But you'll see this kind of price action usually when there's low volume. So I like to trade typically in my session, which is typically pre-New York, sometimes going into New York open, and then also New York Stock Exchange open as well. And then typically I'm out of the market after that, just because the volume dies down quite a bit. So you can see this was during Asian session, these really big candles. And then we have, then we have New York stock market open. So you see some decent candles here. So, but anyway, when it comes to my trading plan, one of the things that I'm going to be looking at, and this will probably change by the time Monday morning hits because the market opens up on Sunday, but I do see a support level right here. And basically, if price goes, wrong thing. If price goes up above this level at 23.99, 14 or 2400, then I'll definitely be looking for buys. And then let me just mark this level off, targeting the previous high over here. So, and this is a really good target, especially because price came up here and then it rejected. So I know that at least if price comes back up here and starts trading up in this range, then there's a higher probability that price will go up here. And then, let me see. So pretty much I would not be interested in sells. Really not interested in sells. I'm trying to see what would be a good area. Mainly, I see a counter trend opportunity right here. So here to here. And then let me just put this down arrow right here. So this could be, it'll be a little bit risky, mainly because of all of this price action that we have over here. It's not the cleanest price action. So looking at cleanliness, and when it comes to price action, you see this really big candle here. This is a clean candle, and then this move came down, was pretty clean as well. These aren't really strong candles over here. So not to say that it couldn't happen with enough volume. None of this matters. It could just go straight down. But that is an idea that I have so far. And another idea that I have this week, this upcoming week, would be, say for instance, if price did come down, say if it came down here and maybe bounced off of this level and came up here, then it would be a nice buying opportunity above 2374, 2375 kind of zone, back up to here, and then possibly up here. So that is an idea that I'm looking at as well. What else? This is a nice range right here. So for instance, if price came down here, could continue down here and go all the way down to 23.48, and then price could come down here all the way down to 23.33, but I probably wouldn't be looking for anything much further than this, level. Let me extend this, than this right here, at least for the way price action is looking right now. Let me go on the H1 time frame because it's a lot more data and it's harder to see. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. All right, cool. So back to what I was talking about. Oh, my arrow disappeared. Okay, anyway, so let's just draw it again. So that arrow was from up here from 2374 all the way down here. So one of the things that I would be cautious of, I wouldn't really be interested in anything going lower than this, mainly because if you look to the left, you will see that there are multiple bounce zones. So price rejected from this level right there once, let's see, 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times. And pretty much you're getting the sense here that this is a really strong bounce up area right there, 5. Okay, I think that's it. So I could see price coming back down to here or maybe close to here and then bouncing up because we got here at 23.27 and then it went up. And then price got here, got to this point and then bounced up a little bit to 23.48, but then once again bounced, came up, came back down, bounced, and then it really took off right here. So this is where the start of this really big move happened. So if price was to come to here, I would be interested in some sort of signal for a buy. So if price hypothetically did come down here, because obviously we don't know, what it will do, it will consolidate a little bit. And it may not be on this H1 time frame. You may have to go down to M30 or M15 in order to find this consolidation, but then price will break these highs over here and then come up to here. So that's typically what will happen. So I'll definitely be looking for, actually I'm gonna write this in right now, buy bounce zone. And feel free to use whatever wording you want to use, but this makes sense to me. But this is what I've seen. If we look left, this has happened multiple times. So that means that there's a higher probability for that to happen in the future. And who knows where it could go. But that's essentially my trading plan for this at the moment. So Monday morning when I open up the charts, price could be anywhere on this chart. But this is generally the idea I'm looking at. This right here, the bounce up. I'm looking for continued buys, maybe a counter trend opportunity from here, from 23.74, possibly to 23.61, and then to 23.48, and then down to 23.27, but not any further than that just because prices bounced here so many times. So let me save that to make sure that I have it. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.